Let's take a look at the domestic wastewater drain system. You first of all come into the classroom and the plumbing sections are organized. Each different area has a bin, but for plumbing there's three different areas. One is the drains, one's PEX, which is the pressure water, and the other is the copper soldering. So there's quite a few totes. That's because sometimes we run two groups, but each tote should have either tools in it or parts and materials in it, and that helps keep you organized. So when you go in the shop, you'll set up a couple of vices so that materials can be clamped down, and it's nice for the kids to do some kinds of hands-on activity. So one thing that all kids could do is cut a little 1/4-inch piece off of PVC piping using a hacksaw. So that's demonstrated right here. I've speeded up the whole video just a little bit just so that it goes through quicker. But if you could try to get the kids to cut square, that would be a good activity for them. Or they may need to cut a piece of pipe to fit on their drain system. What we have to be careful about is not creating a lot of wasted material. So those little gray totes, these slip underneath the units so that when you actually pour water down the system, that they actually can be the water can be caught. And what I recommend is having just a tote of all the different parts that the students can pick from, and it's almost like a puzzle. And this is kind of interesting for the students because they have to think about how their system is going to work. And you can challenge the kids, but basically you want them to go from coming out of the wall where the sink is on the other side and going down through that hole onto that drain basin. It's a good idea to put a little bit of Vaseline as a bit of a sealant, so that means that the pipes won't leak as much, and it also helps them slip together. And you could talk to the students that this is similar to putting glue on, except for when you glue PVC pipe, it gets glued and it stays there. It does not come apart. And you would not use your fingers, you would use a little application brush. But the same concept is there, that you need to coat all around the pipe. And you could challenge the kids and say, see you can put as many parts together to get it down through to that hole there, or you could ask them to use as few of parts. The idea is that you want them to be able to use unions, which are joining two pieces together, 90-degree elbows, 45-degree elbows, 22.5-degree elbows, by getting the concept that the water must flow downhill. This is not a pressurized system. The water has to flow by gravity. Once they get all the pipe put together, you should double check it and make sure that the fittings are secure. And then you could actually either take a bucket of water and pour it down the sink and see if the water flows and what happens. The students usually really like this. Or if the PEX pressure water system is hooked up already, then you could possibly just turn on the water and see if it flows down. And then the students would take it all apart, and then the next group would go. And typically 2 students at a time is a good grouping for this. 1 student could do it. In theory, you could branch off both sides by using a T coming out of the wall. You have to be very organized for this. The idea is that with the plumbing section that they can do the drain water system, try soldering some copper pipe, and doing pressure PEX fittings, all in the half-hour time allotment. So that's a lot of work to do, and if you're really organized, the students should be able to try all those different activities. And that should cover the whole idea about plumbing. At the end, it would be really nice for you to be able to turn the water on, the water flows down. But then you need to quickly take it apart and be prepared for the next group of students.